Well, so this is the first ever Jam Audio podcast at Pirate Grip and Electric. I'm your host, Jarrod Wilson, for this one. If I don't do a good job this time, I'll be fired and I won't be hosting the next one.
And I'll be taking over.
And then Parco will be taking over. So our host today is, or I'm the host. Our person we are interviewing today is Parco Richardson.
Parco, hey, hello.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So Parco, why are you here? What do you do? Why did I call you to be the first person to be on this podcast?
Oh man, I guess because I'm a very popular figure here in Arizona film community. I mean, I don't like to think that I'm that popular here, but it's so funny because I will get people who are in the film industry, but I never met them before, or, like they've heard of me, and they'll come up to me and they'll be like, "So you're the famous Parco I keep hearing about?"
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I guess like I have some type of like mysterious presence in the local scene here, and people always hear about my name. Like, they're just like, Parco. Do you know Parco? Do you know Parco? And like when I went to so a couple of weeks ago, we had that whole trying to get our tax incentive back. So we went down to City Hall and everything like that. So I went down there just to see what they're talking about. Like, you know what I mean? Because
how many people showed up?
There's actually a good number of the Phoenix community showed up because all of us couldn't fit in the room. They actually kicked it. People had to wait in the hallway or wait in the waiting rooms because all of us couldn't fit in there.
That's awesome.
So
it was like during the middle of the week.
Yeah, it's middle of the week. It was like a Wednesday. And it was early. It was like 7 a.m. 7:30 or something like that. And I just wanted to hear what they were saying, and that's what I really wanted to know is like, what are they saying? Like, are they saying the right things, or who are they like really talking about, like in the industry? So yeah, I went there, anyway, go back to like the mysterious, a person came up to me and was like, they're like, "Hey, so you're Parco?" And I was like, "Do I know you?" And they're like, "No, but I hear about you all the time from other people." And I'm like, "Oh, really?" And they're like, "Yeah, I work with a guy who went to school with you, and they're always talking about you and about things you're doing." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not doing that much, man." They're like, "Well, you do a lot of stuff, but I'm just, for me, I don't feel like I'm doing a lot, but I mean."
Well, you are currently bridging the gap between your regular job, so to speak, as a production assistant into producing, because you're making content.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So what is that content you're making?
So right now I've been producing / directing and co-writing a web series called Laughter Not Guaranteed. And then, so we got one episode up right now, so you can go watch the first episode. Right now we shot.
How do they watch it? What is it?
Oh, Vimeo. Or no, Vimeo. Sorry. If you want
Venmo?
Vimeo. If you want to
Venmo you the money.
But then Venmo me some money, guys. But Venmo Carb Daddys. Which
we'll get to soon.
Yeah, which we'll get to soon. Right. So if you want to watch it, Vimeo, first episode's up.
What would be just a quick summation of what this show is about?
Female comedian, basically the everyday life of her, struggles. Pretty much, she, like the first episode, she has writer's block. You know what I mean? And how she gets through that. The second episode is a bad Tinder date going wrong type of thing, and she's dealing with a lot of insecurities of being a comedian, performing in front of people, thinking if she's not funny or not, and the Tinder date, she's trying to get that from, like, when you meet somebody online, you expect them to be somewhat nice because you guys have talked online and stuff like that. You don't expect them to be kind of cold-hearted towards you and stuff like that. So she's trying.
Is this coming from a personal experience?
Yeah,
you had on Tinder?
Maybe.
So being that you are a local filmmaker in Arizona, are you happy that you are producing this project here in Arizona, or would you feel like it might be easier somewhere else?
No. The main reason why I feel like it's so much easier here in Phoenix to produce this content is because I know people, you know what I mean? I know you.
And people know you.
And people know me.
Oh,
Parco.
Yeah.
No, I know Parco. Yeah. Oh, wow. I'll come work on the great Parco's work. So that's the thing. I if I would lived anywhere like in LA or something, I wouldn't be able to get half this stuff made because in LA, it's LA. I mean, people like they can't take free work, or they can't take work that is
permits alone.
And permits alone, yes, and permits alone, and they also can't. People are not willing to work for low wages because I mean, like rent's like $3,000. The cost of living is so high. Yeah. Here, people are willing. I can give somebody 200, like, audio guy or, some, a DP, $300, $400 to come out and work on my short film for one day, and them not feel like they've lost out on something complete. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if it turns out great, people are going to be like, oh my God, like, yeah, hey, at least I've got to work on that, little small project.
Now, someone might be listening to this who has a regular 9-to-5 job, and they're hearing you say like only $200 to $300 for the day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good money.
That is good money, but that's not the industry standard money that, people who have families, and the people got to understand when, like, I'm not a big production company. I'm like you said, I'm a PA. I'm making PA wages. On a good year, I can make $40,000 here in Phoenix. Anywhere else, if I was living in LA or, Atlanta, I can make, 50, 60, maybe $70,000 a year because I'll be working more.
But cost of living is higher.
But the cost of living is higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here I can live comfortable, because the cost of living here is lower. And I can do, and it gives me the opportunity to be more creative here. Because if I was out there, I would be working every single day, and it wouldn't give me a chance to pursue my directing and writing and producing, what I really want to do in the industry.
Now, what do you feel like we are lacking here in Arizona, like as far as infrastructure goes? Like, what would you like to see get better here?
I think the only thing that really I feel like Arizona's lacking is a real clear way for people to get like investors. Something like if there's like some type of like, or some type of grant system, if everybody got together, like, Real Men, a Pirate, just the local, like all the grip houses or the local whoever has cameras, and everybody just got together, and you guys did like this kind of Justice League round table type thing, and it's just like one person walks in and he's just like, I have a script, and they're like, and you got everybody reads it, a copy, he does a pitch, and like you have like 4 or 5 people come in, they pitch an idea, and they're like, okay, I'm willing to, give like the truck for like, a day for that. You know what I mean? And if everybody can like, you know what I mean? But you have to be like, have proof of insurance or something like that. Make sure you do somewhere. Sure. You need to get some insurance so in case, everybody's gear is protected and things like that. Just so like, I mean, like I said, like I'm working on a PA wage, so it's like I'm always I hate being that guy that's always like, but can I get it for low? You know what I mean? I hate being that guy because obviously I got to eat too, but I'm also trying to be creative, and so that's the tough thing. So
well, don't you think it's maybe like a lack of education thing? Because I mean, our industry is a business just like any other business, and other businesses have to do the same thing and go get investors for real estate property or the bakery shop they want to open up. This is foreshadowing to something we're gonna get to later. And so why does it seem like it's so hard for filmmakers to get money? Is it just kind of like a notion that people kind of poo-poo because it doesn't seem realistic, do you think?
Yeah, I think that's what it is because it's just like you look at something and they're like, everybody's looking at them and like, well, why should I give Joe Schmo? Why should I take a chance on this kid to like, why should I give him, 30 grand, 40 grand to go do this? And the main reason why I think Arizona is such a good spot for investors, because I mean, like we're right here by Scottsdale. Like I'm sure there's like hundreds of, millionaires and billionaires in there who like, if they were to donate 100 grand to like, I wouldn't even say donate, just like 100 grand, invest, and you might be able to get double. Because if that movie goes to Sundance or some other festival, and then it gets picked up by a distributor like A24 picks it up, or Sony or somebody, and they're like, we'll give you $5 million. That investor just got all his money. I mean, and $100,000 is nothing. I mean, to somebody who has $50-70 million in the bank, you know what I mean?
Well, but I think that also you have to think, as far as from an investor standpoint, worst case scenario, there is a possibility that I will not get a return from my investment.
You won't get, or you'll get a very small return back. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like if it does do a small theater run somewhere, it's a chance you will. And that's why I mean I think it needs to be this whole like if we had an investor list, it needs to have somebody who's in control of that investor list, and then we need to vet everybody who goes through it, and basically so if I come in there and I'm like, I got this script. Like, it just can be Joe Schmo from film school coming in. He doesn't even know how to light properly, do any of that crap yet. And he's just coming in, I got this cool idea that, gore, blah, 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 blah. And it stops those people from coming in. And it like, it will like help people like, you guys know Pedro and stuff like that, who has 6 or 5 short films that he could showcase. Like, this is what I've done in the past.
You're referring to Pedro
Nunez.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
And what are some of the
Perez? Sorry, Nunez Perez. Yeah.
And what are some of the projects he's worked on?
So Back Home is our recent one, which just got into, and we did that with Wild Bird Studios. So it was like a co-producing thing. And we did that, and that actually, I submitted that to the Migrant Voices in the San Diego Latino Festival. And so and I just heard back from them yesterday. So we got in. We were in the top 12 finalists and that. So me and Pedro are gonna go out and to San Diego on March 17th, and sit down with all the other filmmakers who made it in.
Cool.
And see our film out there.
Now, is that the way that you get your films noticed, through film festivals?
Yeah.
I mean, is that pretty much it?
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the way we've been. I mean, that's the quick way, and like the easiest way is to basically do the film festival route. If you don't have a direct connection to the industry like some filmmakers do, whose father was blah blah
nepotism.
Blah. Yeah.
Something too.
Yeah. So
sure.
You have to go through that way and get some type of like small or get a grant or go through the Sundance labs and things like that.
Now, you were talking about like you wish that there was a system where there could be a connection of investors and filmmakers, but that's insinuating that there is a community here. And being that I also work in this community, I've seen that a lot of times certain people don't play well with each other. And so I feel, this is just my 2 cents, that for us to get what we want, I feel like we all want more work here, more film shot here, more projects here. Yeah. We need to get over ourselves and we need to get along with each other and see the big picture that we can work together with each other and we're not fighting over that piece of the pie.
Yeah, and I think I like that. It's just because what I've seen as growing up here, and well, not growing up, but coming up in the film industry here, is that a lot of you can have loyalty to the older generation of, the guys who've been working since the 70s. Yeah, respect and stuff like that. But, some of these guys are getting into they're like 65, 67, 70. Some of them are having, hip problems, knee problems, back problems. You know what I mean? They're not able to move as fast. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, this is 2020. Who's going to be the next group in 2025? Because these guys are going to be set plus 70 plus years old. You know what I mean? I don't think none of them are going to be. Who knows? Somebody might collapse on set. You know what I mean? Like one of these guys might just die on set. I'm like, who's the There's who's the new generation that's coming up? And that's where I find here is that you can have respect, but you're also like not training the next generation to support you in the future. You know what I mean?
Well, do you think that there's that fear of like, well, if I train this person, they'll take my job?
Well, that's the point, because I mean, like, if not, then they're gonna go to LA, and then when the work does come, you're gonna be calling around, and nobody's gonna be there to pick up the phone because everybody's gone. You're gonna be like, oh, where's everybody at? Why did everybody leave? Like, you didn't want to trade me, so I left.
And that's the argument that like it's almost like be careful what you wish for, because if enough work comes here, that they say that we're only like 2.5 crews deep.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so like, then the people will come in from the other markets and take our work or, whatever.
Yeah. Then people, I'm working a job right now where, all of our DIT guys are booked right now. So now the guy who's on set, he's from LA. He drove his DIT stuff out from LA. Now, so, I mean, like, that's the stuff.
Now, I think, LA and New York are always going to be hubs.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And I think that it's too easy to call LA and New York the bad guys.
Yeah.
You know, like let's get over that.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
stop that. You know, like we can work together.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, LA, because we're so close, it's always
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
They are aware that work is going to other places that have film tax incentives, New Mexico, Louisiana, Georgia, you know, and then in Canada too.
Yeah.
So, I'm just wondering if they're open to the notion of us having a piece of that pie, or do you feel like there's an animosity between Arizona, LA, or even LA, New Mexico?
I think there is, because I mean, we get people who come down here from all over the place, from those hubs, like, you know, especially the upper echelon people, like the producers and stuff like that, and the clients, and they always come and they always leave, and they're always like, wow, you guys are really good down here. And they always think, like, I'm like, we're not these backwater, you know what I mean? Hillbillies or something like that. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. It's like we're in the top 10, like, you know, cities in America. Like,
we're
you know
like
what I mean?
the fifth or sixth largest city in the United States.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, guys. I mean, and like, because every time, like, you know, we get a guy from LA, they come down here and they're just like, wow, man, the PAs don't act like you guys in LA, or they, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, well, I mean, I've seen PAs from LA, you know what I mean? I mean, they're really like, if there's a truck PA, he's on that truck the whole time.
It's very departmentalized because it's a union town.
It's a union town. Yeah. So when they come out here, they're always like, wow, why are you just like, blah, 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 you're going crazy? And they're like, you're so good. Everybody like, won't you come out to LA? But if I go out to LA, then I'll have to fall into, like, you know, I wouldn't be able to be as helpful, you know what I mean, to, you know, on those crews. Because like you said, it's unionized and things like that. And people are like, what are you doing picking that up? You know?
Do you think that being in a right to work state helps us or hurts us?
It helps us because, I mean, all of us now, we know we're basically, like, you know, one of the things for the Marines is, you know, adapt and overcome. And so
you were in the Marines?
Yeah, and I was in the Marine Corps. So it's like we here, all the PAs can adapt and overcome to pretty much all the situations. You know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, can you go help out art? Oh, I worked in the art department enough. I'm comfortable. Boom. You know what I mean? Oh, I worked in, you know, the grip guy can be like, hey, Parker, can you go hand me blah, 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 blah. And I can be like, oh, I know what that is, you know, because I've worked in the grip, helped the grip guys out enough to know half the stuff on the list, you know. And, you know, it is for the rest of the department. I used to AC. So, you know, when the second AC is going to go use the bathroom or something like that, and they're like, all right, we're about to roll, I can jump in and be like, all right, slating, because I know how to slate, you know what I mean? Or, you know, they're trying to change lens, I know how to, like, grab the lens, know how to prep it, ready to go.
Sure.
So I think that's what makes us different here, is that, like, there's a lot of people, a lot of PAs that can, like, you know, just do a lot of the other departments also. But also, if you want that, you know, knowledge, we want to get paid for it too. You know what I mean?
Well, right.
So that's the biggest thing too, because I've been on those jobs where people are like, I've seen that, I heard that you could do a little bit of AC work, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do a little bit of AC work, and they're like, okay, well, can you do AC? I'm like, well, this is the rate for that. No, you know what I mean? If you want to hire me as AC, I can do it AC, but if you want to hire me, you know what I mean? Like, you're just not going to get that for free. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I've done it already for free for, you know, how many years now. It's like, I know the knowledge, and
well, being, you know, and that brings up a good point, because being a right to work state means that you are the union of Parco, and I am the union of Jarrod.
Yeah.
And until that changes, and I'm not poo-pooing anybody, it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You need to tell people what your rate is. So you need to showcase that you have worth. You know, as essentially what it is. And so if you're going to give me more responsibility, then I should be paid for that. And you know, we have producers that are wanting to lowball us because they want to look good for their bosses, and they want to save a buck to maybe even pocket that for themselves. I mean, who knows what the situation is? There's all kinds of people out there.
I mean, that was the one thing just now, you know, this week, you know, on this job, was dealing with basically, I could have had 7 days straight on this week, but because I was booked, this person booked me from this past Tuesday onto this Monday. Got a call, hey, they don't need you on the Tuesday. I'm like, okay, cool. I got a call for another job. I can see. Let me see if I can. I called them back. They're like, oh, we already found somebody. I'm like, okay. Well, at least they gave me that Monday. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. I'll still get, you know, 6 days.
Sure.
Then on Tuesday, they were like, they don't need you Wednesday. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'm good with having not my Wednesday, but have 2 days off. Then on Wednesday, they were like, they don't need you Saturday or Monday. And then at that point, I said, hey, it's not cool. I'm charging a cancellation fee.
It's a lack of respect.
It's a lack of respect. It's like they think because you're at the bottom of, like, if it was not the busy season for us right now, I wouldn't have cared. But it's because I turned down 3 other jobs to do this job because it was the longer of those jobs.
Sure.
I'm like, now it's
you
like,
believed what they told you.
They believe what I told, and I'm like, and then like I think one of the producers said, he's like, that's the nature of the business. I was like, no, I mean, like, it's the nature of the business, but when I'm turning down work to do your job, like at this point, it's like, no, it's a cancellation fee because like the jobs I already missed the days now. You know what I mean? At this point, I missed the days. You know what I mean? And I'm not, luckily I'm not charging like, oh, this is how much I could have worked. You know what I mean? I'm not charging you for the whole job. I'm just giving give me 1 day, cancellation fee. You know
Which
what
in
I mean?
the grand scheme of things isn't a lot of money.
It isn't. For them it's not. You know what I mean?
Well, so that's what causes us to double and triple book ourselves.
Yeah.
And I've run into problems where there's a 2 or 3 day job and they're looking for the position.
Yeah.
And I go, well, I can work this 1 or 2 days, but then I got to cover myself for day 3 or day 2. And they go, oh, well, we want to try to get the same person for the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, in a perfect world, yeah, totally. Yeah. But it's obviously not a perfect world. And these things happen. Like that guy said, it's the nature of the business.
Yeah.
So why can't producers understand that I got to replace myself on this last day or whatever because it's just the nature of the business. Yeah. It's nothing personal. Yeah. I'm not trying to like screw your, your
I mean,
project.
a lot of people do take it personal. Like that's the biggest thing. Like we would get there's a 1 day job and I'm booked on, but then I'll get a call and there's a 5 day job and I'll be like, hey, I got to replace myself. Oh, well, I don't like that. It's just cool. I'm like, well, I'm replacing you with somebody.
Like you just stabbed him in the heart.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not leaving you empty handed. Here's my replacement.
Yeah.
Also, but they take it so personal, and I'm like, I gotta eat. I gotta pay rent.
Totally.
I got car insurance. I got this. You know what I mean?
And this definitely hit close to home recently. So we're having some, and I'm not trying to badmouth anybody. Just the way the world is. Yeah. We're having some work done here. At the shop.
Yeah.
And we have some contractors coming in and out. And so, and we're independent contractors, but we do film. And so this contractor had to postpone it, the job, because of something happening. Yeah. But what they didn't do differently than we do is they didn't replace themselves.
Yeah. They just didn't show up.
They were just like, I can't do it that day that was scheduled, but I can do it this day. And I have to be okay with that. And, and it's fine. It's not the end of the world. I'm not complaining. Yeah. But what it showcased to me is that we are definitely on another level in that we replace ourselves with somebody. Yeah. So we understand that the job needs to get done. It's like the whole theater thing, like the show must go on. And we understand that. Yeah. So I can't work day 3, but here's somebody that is an able-bodied person that can do the job. Yeah. And yet producers still get all bent out of shape. Yeah.
I've had a guy, I've had a dude, Steve Shavowski, right? Shavowski. Yeah. He hit me up for a job. And because he wanted to replace himself for he was a PA on some photo shoot, and he was like, I want to take this grip job, and the lady just went berserk on him. Was like, no, I hired you, and like he was going to replace him. So he's like, this guy's good enough, like, and they're like, and like literally, he used it as a gambling chip to get more. He was like, well, how much is that job paying you? And they're like, he's like, well, I'm making this amount, and they're like, I'll pay that just so I can keep you on.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, good.
That's kind of honor.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, thing, that's perfect. I mean, like, yeah. But but sometimes you get a producer like that who will freak out. Like even if they'll still call, like that person was cool, you know what I mean? And bumped them up. But like you'll get somebody who just you're unprofessional, like blah blah blah, and I'm just like.
Well, and they're assuming that there is universal loyalty because that reminds me of a job where I was double booked, like I have to do because this is the nature of the business.
The nature of the business, yeah.
And the two jobs ended up happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So and it was a repeating client. It was a still photographer. And I called and I said, man, like, I can't do this job because I'm on this other thing. It was a docudrama thing. Yeah. And that was locked in. So it was a longer, job. But I'm going to replace myself. You're going to be fine. Yeah. They took it so personal, and like I was letting the photographer down, and all this stuff, like so hardcore that I replaced myself in the docudrama, which then angered people with the docudrama. And I'm like, I am just like between a rock and a hard place here. But like, help me, please,
Yeah, exactly.
So I went to this job, and it ended up getting along with the girl that was having a problem with me. We even like at the end of the job, like hugged, and it was like fine, okay. Yeah. And then I get a call a couple months later from the same photographer company, and they're all like, hey, we got this job, and it was like in like South America or something, like somewhere exotic. And I was like, wow, cool. And like, the photographer wants you to come with him maybe, and like, we'll let you know. Okay, cool. And so, it's getting close to that time, and I haven't heard from him, and I contact him, and it was like, oh, that job went away. It was like, it was just so kind of like, whatever. Yeah. And this is coming from the same people that were appalled
by
that I personally wasn't going to be there. Like, I'm the best person ever.
Yeah.
So I left my phone on here on purpose because I am freelance. And because I'm freelance, I have to take jobs as they come.
Yeah.
So this is OT Ashton who's calling in right now. Hey, OT, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. We're just having a little podcast here, and we're just talking about film and AZ and just kind of film in general. OT does art department here in town. And were you currently working on a job today?
I am. I'm working on probably 2 jobs today.
Oh, wow. So we were just talking about how we double book ourselves sometimes, and how producers need to understand that is the nature of the business, that jobs come and go, and sometimes you're double booked, and sometimes you can double dip, and you can do 2 jobs. I mean, it's just, we're trying to survive out there.
Yeah.
So.
Especially when you're doing something like for me in the art department, like my stuff is so random and all over the place that like one day I could be looking for, some silk flowers, and the next day I need to make fire. And so it just becomes one of those things that, I kind of grab and do what I need to do whenever I can. So I'm always working multiple jobs in my mind. So I basically have to facilitate that in my life to get things done.
Now, fire, wasn't that more of like a special effects thing? I mean, but they're putting that on art department now?
It switches around.
It sounds dangerous.
I mean, we just worked a job last night where it was just like, it was a campfire.
There's,
That's true.
Depending on what you're doing, I mean, some people, they want oil lanterns, and do you consider that a special effects, or is that just knowing how to work with that item?
Right. Well, you're referring to the cross-departmental gray area of things. Is that art department? Is that lighting? Is that production? And then everyone's wondering who's in charge of that. Is it okay for me to move that? And like Parco is our guest today.
Awesome.
Like we were talking about earlier, how I can do this as a production assistant, but are you going to pay me for it? Which is a problem. Can't be a problem. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, we're doing this show right now, but I left my phone on purpose because we are freelance and we got to take the jobs as they come in. And OT, you might have a question that pertains to a job that we're currently working on or gonna work on. So I wanted to make sure I was available to take the call. So is this something that we can talk about on the podcast, or maybe we can generically talk about it and I'll know what you're talking about?
So tomorrow we are both on a job.
Yes.
And
baseball.
There's an area where, if someone needs to have a fan.
Okay, sure.
Like if you think about a fan, that's another one that's, doing it. It's who's getting paid to do it? Who's bringing the fan? Like,
right.
It is one of those things, and for me, Duvetine.
Okay.
That's a big one. Do G&E, Grip and Electric always have enough Duvetine to cover any art needs that may show up?
Well, it brings up a good
know.
point. We are currently experiencing a pre-production conversation, so that when we show up on the day, OT and I aren't looking at each other going, "Did you bring the Duvetine? No. Did you bring the Duvetine? Oh, I thought you would." So this is a good example of pre-production communication. Go figure. Oh my goodness. Wow. You're seeing it happening live.
Live, ladies
right
and gentlemen.
Well, okay. So based on the job tomorrow, OT, I am bringing, so the job has to do with a truss tent that we're building. And I'm bringing rolls of 6 mil black Visqueen that we're going to clip to it and speed clip to it with A clamps and speed clips. And then I'm bringing solids for that as well. 12 by 20s, 12 by 12s, stuff like that.
So we seem to be covered. And something I run into is, I don't know if I'm still, this has nothing to do with, it's kind of a pre-production kind of, when you are in the art department or in that section, like, determining who's bringing the props. Like sometimes it's the client and sometimes it's, we go pre-shop everything. So, there is that space too, where being clear, like you were saying before, communication is obviously key. I am hoping that whatever was brought tomorrow in a truck that I was told is showing up there, like, do I need a saw to cut something? Do I need to, drill something? Should I always have a complete full set no matter where I go of my toolkit? It really is something that, someone should be, in reality, if you're producing and you have your department heads, those conversations should probably be had, at a round table or with all of the people involved, just to eliminate that, like you and I, like you were just saying, oh, who brought the Duvetine?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things like, hey, let's have a saw to cut this piece of wood. Do you have a piece of wood? Does grip department have a 1x3 or does an art department guy, can he screw this onto this thing? Like, it really is important to make your day go by.
It really is. And let me just fill in whoever's listening to, this is the job where I was going to get the truss tent from a local company, and they said, we think we have a room. We don't think we need the tent built. Stand by, but we might. And so yesterday, Friday, this is a company that is Monday through Friday. Weekends are closed. So I needed to pick this up on Friday to have it for Sunday morning. And, they ended up saying, nope, we got a room. We don't need it. And then this morning I get a call, they need the tent. Well, it's Saturday. Like we had our opening yesterday and supposedly it was good and now it's not good. And that was just like really bad timing. And then it causes people to scramble and it's trickling down from the top and it's causing, it can cause problems. And it actually brings up a point that I had written down in my notes. How often we find people sabotaging their own project without even knowing they're doing it.
Yeah.
And it stinks because if you're sabotaged, you're literally put into a corner. And how do you fix that?
Yeah.
Right.
So
and how do you feel and how are you dealing with production at that point once you feel like you're in that corner?
Totally. Parco, you have something to say about that?
Oh no, I was just thinking. I think also it comes down to the creative side of things because there's so many people in a room. You know what I mean? And then there's like so many different voices being heard.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you got the director's vision, but then you got the client's vision, and then the clients have just 5 of them against one guy. You know what I mean? And so the director could be like, "All right, we're good, we got it." And then Joe Schmo, who's been on his laptop the entire time, looks up and was like, "What happened? Why is there this right there?" And then they got to do and then notice it, the 20 takes that we did, and then we got to go back, remove whatever, and then decide to do. And so they're so now we're behind 2-3 hours, and then they're like, why are we in overtime? Why are we paying? You know what I mean? And then it's just like, well, we had to go back and do that shot that you know what I mean?
Well, the question for that example is, was there a script supervisor?
Yeah.
Because I'm starting to see script supervisors go away for people to save money. And, we missed that one element of continuity that's going to kind of screw us with the whole thing. And now we got to go back.
Yeah.
And because they wanted to not hire a script supervisor, which is definitely script supervisor, first AD, call sheets. Call sheets matter. Hashtag.
Call sheets matter.
They matter. Don't hide information from us. Like people using information as power. Like I'm going to keep it to myself. That just sabotages your own project. Stop it. We're a team. We're all here with a singular vision, trying to carry it out. So at the end of the day, we feel proud about what we do instead of like, well, that was a mess. Like that's a really crappy feeling.
Yeah.
So
no, not something to take home. We don't want those. We try to avoid those.
We don't. Yeah, exactly. OT, did I answer your question well? Was there any other things?
No, I appreciate you guys being there so I can hear you out in the podcast world.
Right on, man.
I just urged, I had to talk to someone in production, so I figured I'm just gonna call in, and hopefully I can get some of this off my chest. And you know what? Amazingly enough, I feel 1,000 times better that we've talked and communicated
if this
about
was live,
it.
you could call in right now.
And that's the gift that the first Jam Audio podcast gives people in the production industry, and can give you too, maybe in episode 2. So we'll see. But well, cool, OT. Well, if I don't talk to you later today or tonight, I'm going to see you on set tomorrow. Yeah.
Yes, you will, and we'll both bring Duvatine.
We'll have so much Duvatine we won't even know. We'll have it coming out of our ears.
All right.
Cool, man.
Awesome. Well, I look forward to it, man. I'll talk to both you, all 4 of you, or all 20 of you later.
We'll talk soon, man. See ya.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
So yeah, that was an element that I was going to say earlier, but we were kind of talking, and it was good. So I left my phone on, and I encourage you that if you get a phone call that maybe you think might pertain to business, that you take it to, and we just kind of like roll with the punches.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, I probably don't get this call, as much as you do, but I mean, I just got the honeys that always text me.
Oh,
the ladies.
The
What's up,
Tinder?
Yeah, what up, guys? What up? See, actually, Pedro just called me. See. So
would you refer to Pedro as one of your honeys?
Yeah. And then Matt, I got Matt Kine. He just texted me.
Oh.
What's Matt doing? Hit me up when you're done. Probably be there around. He wants to go to Crescent Ballroom tonight because he hasn't worked all week. He said. But it's so funny. I'm like, didn't you just go get off a 30-day just working straight? And he's just like, yeah, but when it slows down, I'm like, dog, take a week off. You know what I mean? He just he loses. He's like I go crazy when I'm not working at least 1 or twice a week.
Well, but don't you think that this industry kind of corrals a certain type of mindset of workaholics, where we are become our own worst enemy? Like when we're kind of twiddling our thumbs and not working, we feel like we have to work constantly.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I started to, just write my own stuff and produce my own content, because then that's a way of I'm creating my own job in the future if it actually does go somewhere, or you know what I mean. So I approach it from that point of view, where if I'm not working, on production, I'm at least writing something or reading a book that pertains to writing and helping me produce a TV show or a short film or something like that. So
now also, in addition to the entertainment industry, as far as the side things you do, you're also started another company.
Yes.
And what is that company called?
Carb Daddys.
Okay. And so, I forgot to mention that this is also not only the first Jam Audio podcast, but it also is the gluten edition. And so you have some,
I got some
gluten?
bread.
Is it, you got some bread with you? Is it all gluten?
Yeah, it's all gluten. No gluten-free bread today.
Sorry, Paige. No gluten-free bread for you.
Sorry.
But maybe next time.
I did make gluten-free bread, but it came out more like a biscuit.
Okay.
So
nice knife holder.
Dude, right?
I was like, what is that?
It's a knife. It's my very sharp bread knife here.
Wow.
It cost me $20, but it slices bread. So I got 2 breads with me.
Okay. What's the first one you're about to
slice? The first
slice?
one is just a regular sourdough. Just my regular, crowd pleaser. I made a grilled cheese with it earlier.
Okay.
It's
So where did the name Carb Daddys come from?
So basically, Sydney, my business partner, Carb Mama / Carb Daddy.
Are you Carb Daddy?
I'm Carb Daddy. She's Carb Daddy Mama.
Okay.
She wanted to start a business. Because she bakes pies. We both cook. I cook. I used to do the vegan dinner night all the time, every once a month, and it was just a hobby. But then, I think it became more of like people kept saying, "You guys should do a food truck." Everybody kept saying, "Do a food truck. Do a food truck. Do this. Do this." You remember when I was talking about I wanted to use ambulance as like start slinging like jackfruit torquitos and all this other stuff.
Pirate Grip and Electric has an ambulance called the Ambulunch. Which was an investment that we tried to make a food truck / catering craft service on set. Didn't really work out, but we still have it. Parco and I have been talking about maybe making it a food truck for Carb Daddies.
Yes.
It is available to use. We've been using it for the art department a lot because it's an ambulance. So it's fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's where that comes from.
And so we got together and we were just like, let's just do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, pretty much saying, fuck it. That's what it is. Because what if people just like, oh, it's not going to turn out. People are not going to order anything. Nobody's going to, but people have been ordering. People have been loving the bread. Everybody's been loving.
You just got stickers.
Oh, I do. Oh man,
did you forget them?
I totally forgot the stickers. I had holographic. We got these new holographic ones, dude. They're fantastic. It's so funny. I had them in my hand when I was walking out the door, and then as I was walking out the door, I was like, oh, I forgot the bread. Because I kept remembering you kept saying, let's eat bread. And so I put them down, grabbed this and the knife and had my hands full and I just walked out the door.
Well, otherwise we would be cutting stickers in half and eating stickers. So I'd rather eat this bread than those stickers. So cut that in half. We got some butter here.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So I'll just cut some small ones.
Yeah.
Right here.
Totally.
Into this.
All right.
Save that for the people here. Here's that.
So you said this is sourdough?
Yeah, that's just regular sourdough. That's the original.
All right.
So try a little bit of that. And then this one is something that you inspired here from our talks here. And this is a turmeric, and this is a sweet turmeric. I use like sweet turmeric. So smell that. Yeah, just smell that. It smells like you can smell it sweet. Yeah.
It's very soft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this is a turmeric pepper sourdough.
It's very just like presentable. I just like the way it looks.
So I'm gonna cut into this bad boy, and so cutting into this, actually, look at this. It has like a kind of a marble look here, like it's yellow and white. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's really good. So
all right, I'm gonna put some butter on out.
So I was told, I had some people say they really like that, but they said one thing I should try with that would be, maybe some tomato. Like maybe put like tomato juice in it and make it like a tomato turmeric type thing.
Would that translate after you bake it? Really?
I'm not sure. I'm not, but I keep Kelly from Real Men, the studio. Kelly, she's always like, hey, come make can you make me a tomato basil bread? And
she's just obsessed with tomatoes.
Yeah, she's obsessed with tomato.
I mean,
and I was
love
yeah. But somebody also told me, it was like, turmeric with tomato, like that would be great with this. So yeah. So I really enjoy this. Mm-hmm.
And sweet. So you also make gluten-free donuts.
Matcha donuts.
Matcha donuts. Okay. And then you also make Pop-Tarts.
Vegan Pop-Tarts.
And then what else?
Shortbread. These butterfly lavender shortbread cookies. Pies.
Oh. What kind of pies?
Sweet potato pies, apple pies, pecan pies, all the hitters.
And this is all just out of your own kitchen?
Yes, and Sydney's kitchen.
Okay. And so how does one order from you?
Instagram.
Okay.
So or email, carbdaddys@gmail.com. We just started a Facebook page, so you can contact us through Facebook too now. So Facebook, Instagram, all of that. You can contact us. And so I might be speaking a little bit out of place here, but okay. I think we're ready. I told Sydney today, I said, just fuck it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Let's just go to the next level.
That seems to be the theme.
Yeah.
The last 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I was just like, let's fuck it. Just go to the next theme, next level. And like, I mean, what's the worst that could happen? It's not going to happen. That's the worst,
For sure.
So I was just like, let's start a GoFundMe. you know.
Okay.
And this will help us, you know, build it up, and it will just help us because I really just want to raise $20,000 so we can just go out and try to find a cheap food truck, small food truck that we want to get, like, because we want one of those baby kind of food trucks, and that we can just bake all our stuff out of, and then we can just drive around. Like I said, imagine coming to set like in the morning time, pull up Carb Daddys, coffee, pastries,
especially if it was warm.
Yeah, right.
Warm
First,
bread.
fresh in the morning, fresh bread, fresh everything. Right before, you know, not breakfast burritos like we always get on set or something like that. But like, you know, get some, you know, I make some avocado toast for everybody. You know what I mean? And serve that for people on
Now,
set.
you know, Pirate supports Carb Daddys.
Yeah.
So I know I definitely told you in the past. I'm telling you now, if you need to use the ambulance, please use it, because otherwise it's just sitting there doing nothing. And because it's an ambulance, it has the flashing lights. It's got like an intercom system, like
that could be like Carb Daddys pulling up now.
Yeah, exactly. And it's got a siren, you know. And it could be kind of a fun shtick. And it's got the lighting, so it's like if it's early morning, people can see where to eat the bread, you know, whatever.
And if you get carb overload, I can put you on a stretcher, throw you in the back, and drive you to the nearest hospital.
Does that mean we need to get a defibrillator on board now?
But then I'm rubbing their stomach and like, I'm like, all right, clear.
Paige, we got to put that on the list.
Carb baby, you know, they're feeling like, Carb Daddy got me pregnant.
See, I was going to ask you about where's the carb baby?
Yeah, carb baby.
There's the carb baby.
Carb baby.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Well, that's cool. So, but what you're saying,
And there's also a little spice to that. You know, I don't know if you're like, you know, you're feeling that. Cause I put pepper in there too, so my mouth started burning. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot I added pepper to that.
we have a bunch of condiments here. You were asking for salt.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying,
Smoked salt here.
But did you taste the pepper? Did you feel the heat from this afterwards?
I'm a bit of a spicy nut.
Oh, that's right, because you want me to do the ghost pepper bread. That's right, I keep forgetting about that. Yeah.
So I told Parco, I'm like, people who are crazy about spicy stuff would look at ghost pepper bread as like a challenge. It's almost like when something is spicy, it's like you don't even have to say it. It's like you're saying, you can't handle this bread. It's ghost pepper bread. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, I can handle your bread. Give me that. But because you're a business, you would have to sell it to them. Yeah. You make some money, you know. And then they do a video online. But I would have to eating the ghost pepper bread.
I would have to make them sign a waiver, but like, we are not liable for any of your mishaps.
In a world of lawyers, you have to make people sign for bread.
Well, because I mean, there's this place down in like Arcadia area, it's this chicken place. Me and Leo and everybody, we all went there, and there, you have to sign this waiver that says, hey, you like, it's like this most not expensive, but the highest temperature.
Oh, the Schofield whatever level they said.
And it's just like, and it's like you have to sign a waiver before you eat this sandwich.
Right.
So it's like that, like, you know. So people, because you know, you got the lady, you know, McDonald's who spilled coffee on herself, and she like sued McDonald's for $1 million. So nobody wants that.
How far is that going to get? Like, you're going to have to like sign a waiver to cross the street.
Yeah, exactly.
To get in your own car or whatever, you know.
It's like, every Toyota you get, like, you got to decide a car because one of the Toyota exploded or something. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
I mean, you know, so we should live in fear, right? Every day of our lives.
That's all it is. It's like everybody's. But that's the thing, though. Like, it's like, even though like you want to trust people, it's like you can't trust people because people will be like, oh, you know, I slipped and I fell, you know what I mean? And then like, you know, and it's just like, you know, like, you know, if you're at your best friend's house, you'd be like, well, I can't work anymore. It's your fault. You know, it's like, you know what I mean? Sure. So it's like, so people are so like, we just live in a world where I think money is the greatest enemy. You know what I mean? And it's like, and that's what people's mind is on. Like,
and desired the most.
Well, desired the most is money
over people.
Yeah. And so I think that's what makes people turn on friends and family and things like that. Because when things happen, when it comes down to money, people want to be comfortable. You know what I mean? People want to be like, oh man, I got money. I don't got to work. I don't got to do anything. I can just chill. You know what I mean?
Well, and now that we're in the middle of spring training here in Phoenix, Arizona, even worth more than money is the precious grass on the field.
Yes.
That how dare you step on it to do your job.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they treat that grass like it's gold.
They do. I mean, yeah.
And it's grass. I have a garden in my front yard, and I cannot get rid of the grass. I mean, like, that grass is going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, but they take back to people taking things too personally.
Yeah.
You know, you're stepping on that grass, you're stepping on like their soul.
Well, you got the guy who we did a John Deere commercial for on the baseball field last year at the
One of the
Dodger,
places.
Dodger Stadium or whatever. And he's been like, you know, he's been with them for, you know, 30, 40 years. He cuts the spring training grass. He goes to he's there at the actual field, and he's been doing it for decades. He gets it all perfect for, you know what I mean? The yard has his own guy.
Sure.
That's been his job for the last...
Mr. Grass.
Mr. Grass guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, we're doing a John Deere commercial because he has the best looking grass in the whole, MLB, you know what I mean?
The universe.
In the universe,
yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, people take grass. I mean, even though we're in a desert, we're in a drought, you know what I mean? You know, and we're watering, baseball field. Yeah.
And golf courses.
And golf courses, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, people, like, that's the only thing. I'm like, just play on the dirt at that point. Like,
well,
it's not priorities.
Priorities.
Yeah. Hey, if it benefits the rich, then...
Well, but the rich could benefit the creatives in being investors for these projects. It is a little bit circular there.
But I think what has to happen for that is that I think the investors have to be a little bit creative themselves, in a sense.
They have to appreciate creativity.
They have to appreciate movies and things like that.
Well, everybody loves movies.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do love movies, but I mean, like, you think about people who make a lot of money, or people who make, just like, I mean, I've dated around, and, like, some people just don't even like, some girls, they don't care about movies. Mm-hmm. They don't care about music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're like, when you hear the term basic bitch, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? There's people out there, there's basic bitch and basic, whatever the guys are, bastard, basic bastard too. There's just people out there who literally, they're just living.
Sure. Go figure.
Yeah. This literally just living, working the day job, that's all they do. And
so are you telling me that there is more to life than film?
Yeah, there's more to life.
Is that what you're saying right now? I mean, I don't know if I believe you.
I know. I mean, but, like, I feel like in this world, I mean, like, everything's entertainment. Like, we got everything's content. You turn on the phone, it's content.
Sure.
Is constantly being pushed at us. So when I approach somebody and they're like, I'm like, well, what's your, like, person's profile on Tinder, and they're all like, they're like, hey, they're like, I love movies, I love music. Oh, wow. So does everybody else. You know what I mean? What do you like about it? You know what I mean?
Be specific.
Yeah, exactly. Or, like, I now you start to see the whole thing about what is it? People I have my own car and I have my own house, and I'm like, I would assume that you would have those things, if you know what I mean, like, but I'm surprised, but I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, they have to go pick up somebody on their first date, or, you know what I mean, or,
sure.
Which, I mean, it's not. I mean, if you live in a city where that's, like, if you lived in New York City or something like that, or San Francisco, I wouldn't see that as a problem. You know what I mean? Oh, you just have a car or whatever.
But being in Phoenix, you kind of have to have your own car, to get around.
Exactly.
I mean, our public transit.
Not the greatest.
Not the greatest.
Yeah.
Not at all. And to the extent that they want to extend the light rail to South Phoenix, and there are people signing petitions
to stop it.
And which is
it's going to destroy
backwards.
my business. I'm like, it's going to bring people to your business. Not going to destroy it. If anything, it's just going to show people more. Like, I don't know why. See, I was telling people, I don't know why that light rail does not stretch entire, like, go through Scottsdale, everything, but people, that would never happen, because Scottsdale doesn't want, they don't want the people who ride that.
You mean the working class?
The working class,
the blue collar.
Yeah, blue collar working. Yeah, they don't want those people coming through Scottsdale. That's their city. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you want to, you take a bus up here. You know what I mean, or whatever.
So and I'm bringing this back to the investor thing. Do we need to, as filmmakers, and with us being almost like the troops in the trenches, the blue collar, if you will, do we need to show the investors that we're so much more than blue collar, that we're also creatives?
I think so. I mean, we do work all the time. I mean, like you guys did the soda, the soda thing, which was funny.
With Wham.
Yeah. And I mean, like it's stuff like that. And we sat here and brainstormed, like, you know what I mean? Forever. And I'm like, it's stuff like that where, if people were to see that and then if they would have sat in on a brainstorm, they would have been like, I can see that being a show. And if they were to be like, I want to invest in that, you know what I mean? Then like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? That's the thing. It's just, I think we just need to find investors who would, like, if I was to pitch them something, they'd be like, yeah, I would like to see that. And then like I said, like, I feel like we could do, here in Phoenix, we could do a lot with less. Like if we were to get $100,000 for a project, I feel like we can do a decent future project if we had the right script.
Well, I think that your budget would go a longer way here than other places for sure. But when trying to get an investor, you need to make them understand that and make them believe you.
Yeah, exactly.
And so at a certain point, it comes down to faith.
Yeah. And
people have faith in other people and people trust in other people, which, like we do all the time. Like how often do you get put onto a project and you're working with some out-of-town crew and the out-of-town crew is from out of town and they're working with you who they don't know. And you're literally in situations where you're kind of trusting people with strangers with your life. You're on a busy intersection and you got their back, or they're backtracking with the camera and you're making sure they don't trip. I just met this person an hour ago.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's the nature of the business too.
Hey, I heard that before.
Yeah, so I think that's the nature of the business is that they just assume that you are going to have their backs, you know what I mean? And you're going to have their best interest. But like, we've seen that in the past though, like you think producers are like, and it's so funny because a producer will throw everybody in the crew under the bus to save their hide. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the sad thing. And we've seen it done before, tons of times. Yeah. And it's the funniest thing though, and it's like
it's not all producers.
Not all producers.
There's some good ones, and there's like anybody, any other department.
Yeah. It's good ones and bad ones. But I mean, you will see people be like, you'll tell a producer, I don't think that's safe. We need to do it differently. Blah 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 blah. Okay, they'll be like, no, let's just come on, and they'll try to. But then like if there was like some official person that came like, what the fuck is going on, like, and then like they'll be like, I wasn't told. Like, what? This is the first time I've ever heard of it. Like, and I've like, you hear about stuff like that all the time. And I'm just like, or they're not getting permits and like they're like trying to like that just happened to us recently.
Oh, really?
We were in the middle of somebody else's set. So there was 2 jobs happening, and they had the black arm going with they were doing car stuff with some cars and stuff like that, and they were dropping us off to go do this hiking scene, and the cops were blocking like either side when we went through the traffic, and then she flipped and let us out, and then left, and then the cop pulls up and it's like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "We're about to film our stuff up here." And then a locations guy that we know comes up and he's like, "You guys got permits?" I'm like, "Dog, you know me. I'm just a PA. I'm just doing what I'm told right now." Like, they just dropped us off. They're like, "Well, let's just go. Let me take you in the car." Like, he just drove us back down, and then he had it out with the producer or whatever. And he was just like, "We have a producer." He's like, "Have you have a permit?" Because I have a permit. That's why I got 5 cops right here. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just like stuff like that. You put like you just literally put 2-3 people that you just dropped off on the side of the road in danger, at risk of getting arrested and all this other stuff because you didn't have the proper documents and all this other stuff. And like, you know what I mean?
I've heard that like you kind of go through like Phil Bradstock for that kind of stuff. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I've heard that like a permit could be like $100.
Yeah.
And maybe if you're around like a street, you need to pay a cop like for at least 4 hours at like $75 an hour.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really not that much.
Yeah.
We just worked that job back in January, back by the Superstition Mountains.
Yeah.
And I was talking with the producer afterwards, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And she loves to shoot here. She's from LA.
Yeah.
And she wants to shoot here more, which is really great to hear. I've worked with her a couple times. She's really great. And she was saying that the location we were shooting at, which was a back parking lot at a rodeo place in LA, could have cost $5,000 to $8,000 for the day.
Wow, yeah.
And she said it cost her $250.
Yeah, here, yeah.
That is a gigantic difference.
Yeah, but people in like they still like in LA, like the producers from LA. He comes here and he's just like he still has that mentality that they're gonna charge him out the ass for stuff. I'm like, just ask. You know what I mean? Like that's all you got to do is ask. But you rather risk people's lives and like you know what I mean? I mean like obviously we weren't at risk, but as soon as they dropped us off, our ride just went like, oh, I gotta go get everybody else. Gone. Yeah. And so there's 3 of us sitting on the side of the road. Cops come pulling up. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm a black man in America.
You pulled it.
But I'm just saying, like, he comes pulling up to me and he's talking to me. I don't have information. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I'm just a PA dude. I'm literally just being told, hey, we're going to go shoot up here. They drop me off. We're going to go hike.
Yeah. And me in a job like that, I'm just a grip. I mean, like, I don't know either.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, you got to talk to the head honchos. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, now it's this whole scene. And then he's gone and he's flipping back around. He's getting their people. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so now we're being put at, like, they're putting us at this position. It's just like, it's uncalled for. Like, if you just do your due diligence, you know what I mean? And do it the proper way.
I feel like a red flag if anybody finds himself on set that feels unsafe. If there's no safety meeting or like, a call for a safety meeting, they probably don't have permits and there's probably something up.
Yeah. And it's so funny that you say stuff like that because I feel like people, if you call people out for not being safe, I feel like they find that you're trying to be that guy. You know what I mean? And then they don't call you.
Maybe trying to like sabotage it?
Yeah. Like, why are we doing this? Do we have a permit? Like, no. And they're like, can't you just get with the program? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Well, why can't you just get with the program? And you're just trying to protect yourself and like, everybody else. And then like, oh, he's the troublemaker. Don't call that guy ever again. You know what I mean? And so now you're losing out on clients because now you're trying to be like, well, I'm just trying to be safe.
Well, do you want that repeating client who's going to put their crew in jeopardy?
Exactly. Or do you even want that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, if you're on a job with local people, like a local producer, and you're calling something the production company that came out from so and so, now you're gonna be like, oh, he's that troublemaker who caused me. I'm not gonna hire him because he caused me problem with that with one of my potential clients that I'm making money from.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so like, you know what I mean? And so that's the thing, like, that's
so what you're saying is that
sword,
it creates an environment where people are afraid to say something because they're afraid they'll lose their job or not get called back for another job. And that's a problem.
It is a problem. Yeah, they're using fear to keep people in line pretty much because everybody's just like, well, you should be lucky that I'm calling you anyway. You should be lucky that you're working in this industry. Right. You know what I mean? You're lucky. That's what the whole Me Too movement is about. Like, you know what I mean? Because they were using that as fear to, suppress people and like take advantage of people. Sure. Like, you should be happy that I'm giving you this opportunity to work here in my grace, my presence and stuff like that. And so, I think the mindset just needs to change. People need, like you said, people need to get over themselves and get over their egos and stuff like that, and just realize we're all here trying to make a living. Yeah, like you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you're willing, like, and the people who work here locally, like all the producers, all the coordinators, everybody, like if you're putting your clients before you're putting the people who work here locally, who see you, who potentially could be here, like who. We're seeing you every single day in every job. You shouldn't be putting people who you're going to see once a year or before your helper, your guys here, because you're the person who especially
you got to live here.
You got to live here with these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then with you, say they're like, oh, hey, Jarrod, can you give me 10% off? And like, I got this client. Oh, you want 10? You want to help me? Oh, you want me to do you a favor after, blah, blah, blah. After you do me under the bus or blah, blah, blah. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like you would rather throw your crew, your people, your friend, I guess you could say, consider friends here, your acquaintances here for that one client who lives in New York, who's never going to think of you ever again. You know what I mean? It's just like,
even though they promise, I'm going to take you with me.
Yeah, I'm going to take you with you. I'm going to take you with you. You should come out and do all our jobs. You know what I mean? You're so great, So I think that's just like that mind. I think that's the mindset. We got to have like community loyalty. You know what I mean? First, I mean, like we gotta love each other here, and then we got to unify on the front lines together. So when people come in here, we're all on the same page and we're all like, you know what I mean?
But if there's people here locally that aren't on that, same wavelength, I mean, do they get just kicked out? I mean, like, what do we do with that?
I don't know. Like I said, it's fear because they're like so many people, they got kids, they're trying to pay for their kids' college. They're trying to do, mortgage, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And so they're all scared. Like, well, if I rise up, if I do this, then I'm never going to get called. I'm never going to do this. So it's all this. If we all met and this said, we're all not scared together, you know what I mean? And we're all going to just like, we're going to put our foot down. So when people come here to, do a job and we want to get paid the high rates instead of trying to always help them out, the person who's getting paid from Nike, you know what I mean? Or these multi-billion-dollar companies, you know what I mean? Nike commercial comes down here. Why are you trying to save him 10%? It's $1 billion. They just grossed $10 billion last year, you know what I mean? Arizona, I remember we did the Arizona lottery, you know what I mean? And there was this job recently, last year, and they just posted up, on their Twitter, they had posted up record number sales, $4 billion last year. And then they had got like a new production company or something like that out of LA to come out. And we've been working Arizona lottery forever. I have been getting paid good rates for them. All of a sudden, hey, can you come PA? Yeah, sure. But for 175, it went down? What? Like, you know what I mean? It went from like a high rate to like the low rate. And I'm like,
sure.
They just made record sales. Why are you talking about they don't have, like, making it seem like they don't have money?
Well, that brings up something that I wondered about specific to that job is that, it's the Arizona lottery.
Yeah.
And, any not to just pick on them, but any Arizona company that's based out of Arizona, why are they hiring people from out of state when we are here and can do these jobs? We brought in like a DP from LA or New York. Yeah. Well, you have the right to do that. It's a free country and a free market and all that kind of stuff.
I think it's because of like Instagram and things like that. It's because people think if you don't move to LA or New York, you're not a true artiste, artist. Like,
and the ironic part is most people from LA, New York are from everywhere else.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like everybody else who's like working in that industry are like, they're like, I remember there's like a guy from LA. It's so funny. People from LA are weird. They're like, they could be from some backwater country, in like Louisiana, go to LA for a year and be like, I'm from LA. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like,
well, if they're from Louisiana, they are from LA.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If they're from Louisiana, they are from LA. But like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, you'll get people who live there for 2 years and they just get this attitude. As soon as they move to LA, they're like, I'm from LA. And then because when they start traveling and doing jobs and they're like working and they're just like, oh yeah, where are you from? And they're like, LA. Like it's like this thing like, oh wow, cool. Oh, like, you know what I mean? Bow down like, oh.
Well, the thing is that LA and New York do create some of the best technicians in the world.
Yeah.
But the ironic part about it is that it also breeds some of the worst technicians I've ever worked with.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so I'm complimenting LA and New York, but I'm also letting LA and New York know that just because you're from there doesn't mean that you're the greatest.
Yeah, every single thing. Yeah. I mean, like that's
they can get anything they want, and so they're spoiled. And I mean, it would be awesome if I could just rent anything. I get the call. Oh, we need a techno crane, and we need 1 million Fisher dollies, and I'm just all no problem, and I just make a phone call. But I'm in Phoenix, and we have to be creative, and we have to go. Well, this is what I have to work with. Yeah. And then after a while, when you start working these jobs, you start to kind of see what you actually do need and what you actually kind of don't need. And sometimes these toys are really nice to have and they do make your job easier, but it's not impossible. Like there's in my world, there's the whole LED craze and like LEDs, cool light takes less power. It's awesome. It's great.
I call it lazy filmmaking now.
Well, it breeds that. And like not too long ago, we used Kino flows.
Yeah.
And now there's quasars and asteras, and they're great. I'm not putting them down. But like what happened to Kino? Like I don't get any calls going, we need some Kino flows. It's always, we need quasars, we need asteras, even to the point of Astera AX1s? Nope, I need Titans.
Yeah.
Well, so now suddenly, like not even a year later, my AX1s are just crap.
Yeah.
You know, like they work fine.
It's just because, like I said, it's they get on like it's social media, like they're looking at like Roger Deakins shooting some like blah blah.
Who uses
blah.
a lot of tungsten?
Yeah.
And practicals.
Yeah, and he'll shoot something, or you're looking at so and so using this or blah blah blah, and I'm like, and then boom, immediately, what are you using? What light are you using? And they think they have to use that exact camera, that exact lens, that exact this, and that.
To light this scene that we're in right now, we're using an Arri 1K Fresnel into the ceiling. We're using a Mole Richardson 2K Fresnel through an 8x light grid. We're using a Mole Richardson 200 watt mini mole uplight. We got a bunch of practicals going on here. We are using the Quasar 2 foot 4 bank tungsten coming down as a backlight.
Yeah.
So we got that's our only actual LED. Everything else in here.
A little bit more coffee.
Yeah. Pour some.
I'm gonna pour some coffee.
Coffee there.
Coffee here.
And so yeah, I mean, I love using tungsten. I love using HMIs. I can use LEDs. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I just it really irks me when it's like the end of the world when they can't get the new latest and greatest. Like right now, sky panels are huge.
Oh yeah.
You know. And they're amazing light. I mean, they're literally a computer light. The same with Asteras. And it's amazing, but you know, our cameras are also computers now too. And I feel like we're at the point now where it would be really great for all of us to regroup a little bit and get back to some basics, because it really doesn't need to be that complicated. Like for me, this is a point to some indie filmmakers up and coming now who are they look at all the gear and they're just like, I don't know what to buy, what to rent, what to use. I mean, it is very
it's intimidating.
It's super intimidating. I think a really good bang for your buck is an Arri kit, a tungsten Arri kit. It's $100 a day. You get like 3 to 4 different lights in it with the light stands. Usually comes in with like a jelly roll of diffusion and gels. My goodness, you have an indie film, and plus, you know, most rental houses will do a 3-day week.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you got like a 2 or 3 week job, rent a bunch of like, you know, Arri kits at a 3-day week. And, you know, you're like doing pretty well, you know? And it's just like, but I feel like the people who are making money, rental houses, I'm a rental house, are not being totally forthright with people, because they're like, well, you are going to need like a generator and like a really big light and like you're going to need HMIs. And here's the thing, those are all great tools and they do up your production value, no question. Yeah. But these people are just trying to tell their story.
Exactly.
You know, and isn't that the basis of what we're doing? We're telling compelling stories.
This is my thing. If you have, it doesn't matter what your film looks like. It doesn't matter. This is what I don't know. I'm going to get to the point. So it doesn't matter what the film looks like. It doesn't matter what cameras you're using and any lights and stuff like that. I mean, you could get away with having a crappy camera and just like barely any lighting, as long.
But it's all about sound, right?
It is about the sound. I can watch a bad movie. I can watch a bad shot film and stuff like that. And if the story's good and the audio is good, but if it has bad audio and bad picture, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because the audio just kills me. Audio just like, I'm like, ugh. Because that right there is what makes your film. That means audio is this way. Okay, you're outside. I hear the birds in the back chirping, you know what I mean? Like sometimes, man, I hear some of these films and it's just like, they didn't get room tone. You could tell they just, you know, it's like in the camera audio and like, and it looks good. They're like, literally, they are so focused on making it look good that audio just takes a back, and I just can't even get to the movie at that point because I'm just like, the audio just sounds so bad. Like, oh my God, if you know what a movie sounds like, you're just like, oh, like this is horrible. Yeah. Like, and it makes me like, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm not trying to be like, I'm the world's best filmmaker. Obviously, I'm still working on it. Yeah. But I mean, like, I'll see some locals, and I'm here in the showcase, and I'm looking at, you know, the film, and I remember showing Laughter Not Guaranteed, the first episode at Film Bar, along with some other films and things like that. And I remember all the filmmakers coming up to me, and they were like, oh my God, that looked amazing. It sounded great. It looked amazing, blah, blah, blah. And like, what did you shoot on? I'm like, and it's just like all these questions. Like, I'm just like, I just shot on a red camera, and they're like, a red? Whoa, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, because they're all shooting on 7Ds and all this other stuff.
Sure.
But I guess I'm spoiled because I work around these like REs and Lexus and all these big cameras all the time. So I don't think anything of it. I'm just like, hey, can I get this camera? And they're like, okay, you know what I mean? And rent it for, you know, whatever. And and that's just what I'm used to. That you know, I'm just used to that because I worked in the industry for so long. I'm used to the industry standard, I guess you could say.
Well,
now.
and you got an owner operator to shoot that. Well, you got Aiden, right?
Yeah, Aiden shot the first episode.
Yeah.
And then I got Jason Severs to shoot the second episode. So,
With his Airy.
Yeah, with his Airy.
Cool.
So, and that one, I told him, we looked at Master and None and things like that. I was like, this is my Master and None look episode. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like, that's, you know, I mean, but it's so funny because when you get people that come up to you and they just act surprised, I'm like, and I tell them, like, these are the rental houses here, Real Men, Pirate, all that. And I show because there's a lot of people who come in here, or there's local guys, and that's the biggest thing too. We need to work on is helping. That we have 2 communities here.
I feel like we have more.
We probably have like 3 or 4.
Oh my gosh!
So we have the industry guys like us who work in the industry. We get we're working on Nike, working on the movies, we're working on everything. We're up here. Then you have the indie film crew. Who knows a little bit. They might dibble dabble into, what we do, but they're mainly in the indie film world. Then you just have that film school. Then you have like the people who do it as a hobby. You know what I mean? And it just trickles down. But like in that realm right here, that little realm, they don't know. They don't have any clue because I'll be talking to somebody. They're like, yeah, I'm a filmmaker. And I'm like, oh yeah. And they're like, well, at Real Men. And they're like, what's Real Men?
Right.
Like, what? And they're like, well, I'm like, well, just go to ask Jarrod at Pirate. He'll probably hook you up. What's Pirate?
Right.
They just have no clue.
Or even like the APA, it's a directory for people who work in Arizona.
Yeah.
And people don't even know about that. You know. And I remember when I went to film school, I went to Scottsdale Community College, which I had a really great experience. I remember, you pretty much learn the philosophy of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And then through a textbook. Yeah. And then it's time for your final project to actually shoot it. And they have the cage that has all the gear. Yeah. And they're like, okay, go rent your lights. Yeah. And, and to make your film. And I'm just thinking, what lights do I rent? Like, this kind of brings me back to what I said earlier. Like, I don't even know, I know we talked about 3-point lighting, key, fill, backlight, which actually I always thought it should be 4-point lighting because key, fill, backlight, and then something for the background. Yeah. Whatever. And so, it's just like people just don't know because they're not trained. Yeah. So I would say I'm not poo-pooing film school, but working as an intern, a PA,
get on set.
Yeah, get on set.
Yeah,
totally.
That's the only way you're going to learn.
But you could also learn bad habits on these indie projects that don't know what they're doing. Yeah. And I definitely saw that coming up. And I feel really fortunate that I was able to get in with a good crew to get on some big projects and work with some guys that we still work with who definitely showed me how to work out of a grip truck and how to mold light and how to problem solve and build things safely in the correct way. Yeah. And then once you learn it, it just, like you said with the camera choice, it was just like, well, I'm spoiled. It's just what we use.
Yeah, it's what we use, yeah.
But all that also to be said, it's not a bad thing to use a 5D or a 7D, a DSLR to shoot with. I mean, the only thing that I feel is hard is for the first AC to pull focus because it's a still lens.
Oh,
it's not this. It's incremental for pulling focus as opposed to a cine lens.
Well, what was that? Who's the girl who created that HBO show? I think is it called Girls?
Oh, I don't know.
Lena Dunham. Oh. She created whatever. She created her first film, like Tiny Furniture, all shot on 7D.
Okay,
but it was shot in New York, and so I'm sure she got some she had a crew that was somewhat decent and knew kind of like what they were doing, had audio. I mean, sounded fantastic. Like I'm not knocking like all those other cameras, but you also it's not all about having this beautiful still image. Like, you know how people, they'll post up like, look at my new film. That's the beautiful. I'm like, okay, oh, that looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Now let's hear it. Let's see it. Let's hear it. And then I'm hearing, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, no way. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, yeah, you just gotta, like, I think for audio, you just can't, for me personally, if any advice for any of the, like, any person out there listening is just like, get an audio dude who knows what they're doing, mix on set, and get somebody like Justin over here to mix your movie for you. You know what I mean? Pay him the money, mix his. I'm sure he'll help you out. I'm sure he'll do it for $50.
We'll have to negotiate with him.
Yeah. But I mean, like, just go out there. I mean, at least just have somebody professionally mix that, because I mean, you will see the quality. You could take probably any bad film, mix it perfectly, and it'll just the audio mix alone will bring the production value skyrocket.
Well, it also brings up a good point that, you know, it's worth it to just ask, to just pick up the phone, or, you know, send an email and just go, hey,
it's too cliquish here for that. I think
it is.
I think it'll.
I mean, for students, up and coming, like, film students?
I think once you start, not even students, just when you start getting into pockets of the industry, there's like a lot of cliques and stuff like that.
Oh, well, yeah, there is.
So I think there's a lot of people who make films in their groups of friends. And so I wouldn't say they're scared, but they're like, I've been making films and I've been using the same audio dude for blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So-and-so's been holding the boom for me for blah, blah, blah. But he's not a real audio guy. He's just a guy who, you know, picks up the boom probably on the weekend or something like that. And, you know, just, I'll do audio for you. But I mean, like, if you really want to pull up, like, raise the ante. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to have some type of, like, in the future, like 10 years from now, where in Arizona, there's so much great content coming out of Arizona, like all these filmmakers and things. And we're just like, holy crap, this is just like LA. You know what I mean? Like, we're like, you know, the Phoenix Film Festival is like Sundance, you know what I mean? Right. Because there's so much good, like, content coming out here. But it's not.
And notice that you said, like, in 10 years. So you're speculating if that's going to happen, it's going to take a decade.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
2030.
Well, I mean, like, I'm looking at Phoenix Film Festival, where it's the 20th anniversary of Phoenix Film Festival.
I can't believe that. That's crazy.
And I mean, I've been to Phoenix Film Festival once. I'm going this year, but I really think we should move Phoenix Film Festival away from Scottsdale, because it's not the Scottsdale Film Festival. It's the Phoenix Film Festival. Move it downtown to the up and coming downtown area where all these people are walking around now. All these
Well, Harkins is playing a big part in that, because downtown here, like Arizona Center, is the AMC.
And wasn't at the AMC. They showed all the Scottsdale Community College films in AMC. And
did they?
Yeah, and that's why I was told by some Scottsdale Community College kids. They were like, they screened all their films there. They did the there's that Almost Famous challenge. All their films got played at the AMC downtown.
Oh, okay.
So I was just like, even if you make downtown the center hub of Phoenix Film Festival, so many more people will go. You'll get a better turnout. All the community, because now it's around Roosevelt Road, the art district. You can host. It could be just like how Sundance is, where they get the whole town involved. Where there's a coffee shop, so and so speaking here. So you got people showing films at Film Bar. You got people showing things at the AMC. You got people showing things at Monarch. You got people all the galleries. You got people here at Pirate. You know what I mean? Sure. And on the map, it'll be just like this whole like grid. Like, follow this. And
you're talking about it's like First Fridays.
It's like First Friday, but for Phoenix Film Festival for a whole week. But it's just the thing. You go up to Scottsdale. You go up there to that Harkins, and it's just like a regular old shopping center where it's like, and it's just like, I went to Oaxaca Film Festival, and I'm like, and they had the whole city was the film festival. You know what I mean? It was all over the city. It took me all over the place. I saw everything, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And all these filmmakers were out there. But then it's like, you go up to Phoenix Film Festival, it's like, I don't see the incentive to spend $400 where I'm just going to sit at AMC theater or Harkins Theater and be there the entire time versus if you try to move it downtown and everybody and you're walking around and you're like, and because then you're interacting with the locals if you're wearing your Phoenix Film Festival badge, and people are like, and you might run into that potential investor who's down there drinking, and he's just like, hey, I've been trying to make movies, I got all this money and blah blah blah, and you get to pitch them your idea, boom, and next thing you know, you know what I mean? But I feel like
I would love to meet that person.
Yeah,
I want to make films. I got all this money.
Yeah, I got all this money. I'm drunk.
I'm drunk and I'm smoking cigars. I'll give you all my money.
Monopoly man. You know what I mean?
Where is that guy?
Yeah, I know, and I'm sure he's somewhere. But I mean, like, I've been up to Scottsdale. I mean, I've been up to the area where they're at, and it's just like there's a Chick-fil-A, a Denny's, and like a little bar, and I'm like, and it's just there's nothing up there. I'm like, there's nothing that like
there's a Whole Foods.
Yeah, there's a Whole Foods. I mean, like,
buy your vitamins.
There's just nothing else up there to incentivize filmmakers to actually spend that festival pass to actually go there, except for to rub some person's ego. You know what I mean?
Right.
Essentially, you know what I mean? My film got in the Phoenix Film Festival. I'm gonna get a film festival pass. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool and dandy. But I've been to other film festivals around the in other countries and things like that, and they're over here running. And these are poor, like Oaxaca's not like this rich country, like, you know what I mean? Like, or which state in Mexico, you know what I mean?
You went there for what now?
So I went there. We had a movie called Paradise Terrace. Get into that film festival down there, and we went down there. And me and Pedro had we didn't have any like hopes or anything. We were just like, let's just go down there, meet connections, have a good time. And dude, we had a blast down there. The city was amazing, beautiful. People from all over the world were there. You know what I mean? It was just nuts. So,
well, I mean, do you feel like there is like a reluctance for people to want to go to a film in a theater when we have all this technology and I can just watch it on my phone or on my tablet?
I think people will always go to movie theaters. I think
you do think so?
I mean, it is declining. But I think the way movie theaters should be more of an event to go to theaters now. And I say that with like movies like you go to Alamo Drafthouse where they're getting the actors, they're getting the directors, they're getting people, and they're selling out these places. You know what I mean? Theaters got to change the way they do things. I mean, you just can't just show the new movies anymore. You know what I mean? You got to bring them in with the cult classics now. You got to be like, hey, we're showing like Back to the Future trilogy, All Nighter, baby. We're gonna have Michael J. Fox come in. You know what I mean? Talk. Yeah. You know what I mean? Boom. That'll get. If you have Michael J. Fox, they're sitting in the movie theater with people for 3 nights in a row. You'll sell out every show. And constantly packed. Theater would be packed nonstop. You know what I mean?
Chris Thrasher would be there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
be there.
And I mean, like, it's just like that will be like you just get people. You have to like people just like, oh my god, nobody just wants to go to the movies. I'm like, it's not that nobody wants to go to the movie. It's just like now you need to make it more of an event and an incentive to be like where people are just like, did you go to the it's just like going to go see a play on Broadway or something.
Going to see a live band.
Yeah, live band.
You bought the album.
Yeah, but
you go see them live because you want to see them perform it live.
Exactly, and it's just something like it's that.
Energy.
It's energy. Yeah, exactly. So it's like and it has to have that same promotion. Like, right now, nobody really saw Parasite. I remember.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I remember going to go see Parasite last year, October, and there's a few guys on set who are really big film buffs that I talk to all the time. We were always, and I'm just like, go see Parasite. Go see Parasite. It's such a genre builder. Go see it. Go see it. Go see it. And they just slept on it all the way up until close to win it. Like, and then they're like, I finally went to go saw it. I'm like, after Oscars already went.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you're so ahead of your time.
Yeah, I'm so ahead of the time. But I'm glad they saw it though. But I mean, like, that's the thing though. They have to, people wait until like, oh my God, where it's just the
until it's a thing.
Until it's the thing.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I'm telling people, I'm like, go see it. Go see it.
So did you like it?
I loved it. I was telling people I was just like, it's one of the best films. Like, and I remember.
How was the audio?
Audio was fantastic.
Okay, nice.
There was one thing about that AMC though. That was actually when I went to go see Farewell last year. So when I went to go see Farewell at the same theater, AMC downtown, it was on a smaller theater, and they had cut off some of the subtitles. So I got to see. So you can read. You can pretty much see. I was like, oh, I know what they're saying. Like, you can read it, but they cut off like you can see the top sentence. So if there was two sentences of you wouldn't be able to. You saw like the top half of it.
Man.
So it was bad. I was just like,
it's like choose your own adventure movie.
Yeah. but when I was reading, I was like, oh, I know what they're saying. You know what I mean? You could easily like.
But you shouldn't have to do that. That's kind of a fail on someone's part, the projectionist or whatever, But
I mean, like that's the thing. I think people will always go to movies. I think cinephiles, people will always go to movies. People who love movies, cinema will always just keep going, And I think movie publisher, like people like A24 will bring people into theaters because there's people who are not movie buffs but know A24. Because of all the movies they make and Uncut Gems and all that stuff, everybody's just like, oh my God, A24 is amazing. And I think like you get those like type of production companies that are coming in and they're just like, changing the game. They're getting regular folk into movies, and they people who didn't care about movies know about A24. And I think that's like it's becoming like that a household name. You know what I mean?
Okay, nice. I want you to pour me some of your coffee because we're gonna cheers to this first podcast here.
Oh, yeah.
Give me some of that. So what can we look forward to? Whoa, hang on. I'm good.
Yeah, sorry guys.
What can we look forward to seeing you being involved with in the future here? What's next?
What's next? Oh, yeah. So right now I was waiting for the Sundance. I had been writing a show with my friend back home called Westbury.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And so we submitted that to Sundance Episodic Lab, and we got selected into the second round and things like that. But I just heard back we didn't get in, which is disappointing.
But you tried.
But I tried, and we made. In this one, they were saying it was record number, and we're just happy that we even made it to the second round of the process. So. This whole week we just went back to the drawing board and just reworked it, and like we went on to Sundance as like a list of books you should read.
Okay.
I ordered half of them, you know what I mean, and I've started reading them, and I'm like, oh my God, we didn't think about this, and it's just things I didn't.
You're
think
learning.
About. I'm learning, like
Good.
You know what I mean, and so I'm rewriting, redoing everything, and in the email they were like resubmit, you know what I mean, later on. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna resubmit, and then hopefully we'll bring it home, and we'll be excited for that, and then I'm probably going to do one short film of mine. It's called. I'll just give the title away. I've just started writing it.
Okay, it's a little sneak peek right here.
Yeah. So it's King of the Block. So
okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm.
What kind of genre?
You know what? This is what I said. If you ever seen the movie Dope, it's kind of like Dope mixed with a little bit of Wes Anderson.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the two, like I guess, styles I'm going for. I'm trying to blend those, so it's gonna be kind of a comedy drama.
Okay.
Yeah, because I like comedy. So.
Okay. Well, cheers to that. Yeah. Thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, that's some strong coffee. And thank you to everyone who listened. This is Jarrod Wilson and
Parco Richardson,
and we're at Pirate Crip and Electric doing the Jam audio. Thank you to Jam, Justin, and to Paige Edinson, who helped us with art department here, and from Pirate Booty Props. And we're here at Pirate Crip and Electric, and we're out. Peace.
We're out of here.